Greed, as described in the Bible, is not just a simple avarice for material riches, but also an insatiable desire that consumes the soul. It is a manifestation of the unbridled search for power and the accumulation of goods, which often leads to the exploitation of others and injustice. Beware of all covetousness. Jesus calls us to be vigilant, not only regarding our external actions, but also the internal desires of our hearts. Greed often begins as a subtle seed within us, fueled by constant dissatisfaction and the unbridled search for more. He warns us to be aware of these impulses, as they can lead us down paths of spiritual and emotional destruction. For a man's life does not consist in the abundance of the things he possesses. Here is the essence of Jesus' message. It challenges the conventional view of success and happiness, which is often centered on the accumulation of material possessions and the pursuit of material comfort. Instead, he points to something deeper and more lasting. The true richness of life lies in meaningful relationships, the pursuit of justice, compassion for others, and communion with God. This statement reminds us that we are more than simply what we have. Our identity and purpose go beyond material possessions. The true fullness of life is found in connection with the divine and in service to others. When we let go of the relentless pursuit of more, we discover an inner freedom and genuine joy that transcends external circumstances. These words of Jesus invite us to deeply reflect on our priorities and values, challenging us to reevaluate what really matters in our lives. They call us to pursue a life of generosity, contentment, and gratitude, recognizing that true abundance is not in the things we possess, but in the quality of our relationship with God and others. This passage invites us to rethink our priorities and question what really gives meaning to our existence. The incessant search for more wealth often distances us from essential values, such as kindness, compassion, and love for others. Furthermore, the Bible warns us about the spiritual consequences of greed. In 1 Tim, the passage from 1 Timothy 6 verse 10 offers profound insight into the spiritual consequences of greed. By describing the love of money as the root of all kinds of evil, she not only highlights the gravity of this addiction but also points to its ramifications and far-reaching impact on our lives. The love of money here, it is not simply the possession of money, but the exaggerated devotion to it. It is the idolatry of material wealth, the incessant search for more, regardless of the consequences for ourselves and others. This love of money leads us to place material goods at the center of our lives, instead of God and spiritual values. Root of all kinds of evil, this phrase is powerful in its simplicity. It suggests that greed is not just an isolated sin, but the source of many other evils. When we place money and material wealth above all else, we open space for a series of destructive behaviors, such as the exploitation of others, corruption, social injustice, and indifference to the suffering of others. And in their greed some fell away from the faith, and pierced themselves with many sorrows. Here, we see the personal and spiritual consequences of greed. It not only takes us away from God and our spiritual values, but it also harms us deeply. Those who give in to greed often find themselves in a state of inner emptiness, constant anxiety, and chronic dissatisfaction. Furthermore, the unbridled pursuit of more wealth often leads us to sacrifice meaningful relationships, mental health, and emotional well-being. Therefore, this passage warns us about the dangers of greed not only in a spiritual context, but also in terms of our own happiness and personal fulfillment. She invites us to deeply reflect on our attitudes towards money and wealth, reminding us that the true fullness of life is not in the search for material abundance, but in the search for a life of meaning, purpose, and connection with the world. Divine. This passage reminds us that greed not only harms others, but also corrupts our own soul, diverting us from the path of faith and causing us inner suffering. Therefore, greed is not just a matter of accumulating material wealth, but also an existential issue that confronts us with the true nature of our quest for happiness and fulfillment. It is a call to deeply reflect on our choices and priorities in life, reminding us that true fulfillment lies in the search for spiritual values and generosity towards others. If you like the content and want to help us continue, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment or suggestion about a book, film, series, anime that you want to see analyzed on the channel.